watching Eclecticka. I am Seven, aka Michael Seven Michael, and we've got Sensei Vegan, also known as Charles, and we've got Michael. Michael, do you have a AKA?
I was thinking about that. Maybe the Golden Knight.
Ooh,
Right.
fancy.
Ooh, sorcerer.
All right, guys, you're watching Eclecticka, everything sci-fi, fantasy. That's right, guys. We talk about gaming, animation, movies, TV. Now, this week, we said from last week, we're going to pay a little bit more attention to television and streaming, which is also, I guess you could say television, right? Netflix? You could say it's TV.
Oh, yeah.
So, let's start off with The Punisher.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
was
Can I kick this one off?
yes, you can.
I owe Mr. Frank Castle an apology. I've been a fan of the Punisher for years. Used to collect Punisher comics, Punisher Warrior, all that stuff. And I remember on a show that we did a while back, I said that I don't think that the Punisher, that they could really carry a story with the Punisher being the main character. Boy, was I wrong. Hands down, I've seen everything Marvel has put out for years. I'm talking Guardians of the Galaxy, and Spider-Man, Iron Man, Civil War, and Punisher to me has to be the best stuff Marvel put out. The story, you look at a lot of the movies that Marvel puts out, it's like playing hopscotch. They really can't tell you much of anything. It's just like, okay, let's just build up this massive, universe and just start, cameos and bringing this person in, but you only get fragmented pieces of the story. I'm digging how they did the Punisher, how it moved. Some parts you were just like, really? They bought Frank Castle alive. And honestly, man, I think that was probably some of Marvel's best work that they've ever done. That show is phenomenal. I polished through that thing in 2 days, and I need to actually go back and watch it. And then my wife actually watched it. She liked it a lot too, man. So I'm digging the Punisher. If you haven't watched it, you got to go back and watch that thing because it's freaking incredible. Incredible.
It was the most gritty superhero show, wasn't it?
Yeah. I had a friend call me, and they're like, I can't believe you got me watching this. It is so violent. Yeah, Frank Castle's violent, man. That's who Frank Castle is. And it just captured the essence of the Punisher. And that's one thing I was worried about. Are they really going to go that deep into it? But I think they really had to. Not just it hit you on everything. Physical, psychological, visual. It just touched on everything. And it was just a complete package. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think John Barenthal was born for that role. He really played Frank Castle in a way that many other actors many other actors wouldn't be able to do it. Even just a lot of the head movements and physical actions were very vigilante kind of character in it.
Definitely. It's like, you hear people say all the time, that person was born for that role. He was born for that role. I mean, like you said, everything, the mannerisms, just the way he moved, the way he his voice, everything was just to the T. I don't think they could have got anyone else better to play that role of the Punisher or Frank Castle than him because he nailed it. He nailed it. I'm just curious to see what they're going to do for the second season because that was a handful right there. So I'm just curious to see. Awesome cast.
The cast was awesome. It's just I'm trying to figure out who the weakest link was, and I can't say it's the actor. I think some of the script with his friend, his frenemy, that became his friend, the gentleman that was in the little Batcave kind of thing.
Billy Russo.
Billy Russo. His character got a little annoying, a little much, at times. But that's it.
That's it.
That's
I think
it.
he becomes Jigsaw, though. If I'm not mistaken. I think at the end his character becomes Jigsaw. I'm sorry, spoiler alert. I think that's the character that he ends up becoming is Jigsaw.
Interesting.
But I might be wrong on that. So I'd have to look a little more into that. But
Are you talking about Billy Russo, or Microchip?
no, not Microchip. I'm thinking Billy Russo at the end. when he's laying there, when he's in the bed with all them bandages on his face and stuff. I'm thinking he might be. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking he might be Jigsaw. I could be wrong though, but that's just my thought. I'll look a little more into that. But yeah, overall the cast was phenomenal. It kept you hooked. Like I would watch one and just, man, I want to see another one and another one. I could have watched the whole thing in one night, but I had to go to sleep. Yeah, it was intense.
This was the first production that was entertaining, gave a lot of action, developed characters, and also touched on post-traumatic stress disorder.
Wow. Yeah, it did.
From the, I guess you could say the perspective of the military or someone that was ex-military, and also, you know, the problem with war, a problem with warlords. I would call them warlords. People just taking position and power, the win, even if you have to sacrifice and, you know,
basically
double cross your own people.
Yeah. And
you know,
one thing about Marvel, and they've never really, they didn't shy away from like social justice stuff. I mean, they always would mention, and that's gone back even like to the late 60s, you know, early 60s and all the civil rights and stuff. They were always sort of, their comics reflected a lot of that stuff. You know what I mean? And even with this, man, they touched on stuff that a lot of people wouldn't touch on, like the crookedness that goes on in war, all the backwater deals and backstabbing and all the crooked crap that goes on. And some people think, hey, we're just watching a TV show, but a lot of this stuff happens in real life. That's the scary thing about it, man. That's the scary thing. And I commend them for actually putting that down on paper and actually putting that out to the public and on screen, because that takes a lot of guts to do that. Yeah. So
I love the twist with the guy that was in the that group, the military group, and then how he wasn't really part of the military. Like they had someone like that, which was really cool to see, because having everyone, it wasn't just like, okay, everyone's in the military in here. No, there's even some crookedness that even in everyday people that could happen.
Yeah. That was amazing. So I don't know, like I said, I don't know where they're going to go. I would like to see how they're going to cross it over, how they'll, you know, mix in Daredevil and some of the other people, because remember he did make his debut on the Daredevil show. I'd like to see how they're going to bring in Matt Murdock, but definitely was impressed with that. And one thing that it goes to show, you don't need $150 million, $200 million budget to take and put something good out. You know what I mean? And I think if these bigger movie production companies would concentrate, more on the stories, more so than all this visual stuff. I mean, visual is good, but you need something to move it along. You know what I mean? And they need to take a note out of Punisher's book, man. Work on the effing story, and then everything else should come, you know, afterwards.
do you feel that and this is random, but do you feel shows like Arrow could learn a little bit from Punisher?
I think Arrow, and sometimes even Flash, and I don't want to get on these shows. I do like them. Like I said, I'm caught up on both of them, but they seem to run around the same mulberry bush. You know, it's like this. You know, you get the Flash. Oh man, the reason all this stuff is happening, it's because of me. And the same thing with Arrow. Oh, it's because of me, my friends. It's like they have like a pity party for themselves. You know what I mean? So it's like they kind of run around that same. They need to branch out a little bit, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if that makes any sense of what I just said, hope it did.
I think so. Yeah. I understand that, because it becomes much, you know, and they tend to run around the same script.
Yeah.
It's like you said, almost every fourth episode, Oliver blames himself. Oh my goodness, sky is falling. It's my fault the sky is falling because I didn't brush my teeth today. Oh my goodness. Oh, and then he falls in love with another cast member, and do the romance thing. Then they go to someone's father fighting their daughter. I mean, it's just, and then they loop. It's like the same script. They just change it over and over again.
Yeah.
But I feel that Arrow could learn a lot to, I hate to use the word be more gritty or dark, but I mean, there's a certain amount of grit and darkness comes from someone that could run around in a costume fighting evil.
Right.
You have to be a little off as well as dark, come from a dark place to do that. It's almost like you got to be a little dark to try to bring some light in the world. But that's nice.
Arrow dances around it. No, it's true. Arrow dances around that. You know, one show he's killing people for a few episodes, and the next, okay,
Right.
I'm not going to do it anymore. It's either you choose a side, dude. Either you're going to take the bad guys out.
Right.
You know, you already did it before, so I mean, you know, so you have to choose on what you want. It's like he just seesaws back and forth.
Right.
And Arrow and Green Arrow is sort of has that same attitude as Batman. You know, well, not so much killing, but he's gritty. He's one of the grittier characters, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
But you really couldn't tell that because he just bounces back and forth so much on the TV show. So.
Right.
Well, Batman has a no-kill rule, though. His attitude is just stern, but he has a no-kill rule.
Right.
I don't get that part of it, but I don't know. So they definitely have to make a choice. Flash is the same way.
Okay.
You know, teeter-totter in between, you know, Iris this and Iris that, and just like, oh my God, you got so much you can do with these stories, man. And
now,
it's just like they just run it around.
Are you up to date with Arrow or Flash?
Yes, I am. I'm up to date.
Okay, so tell us where we at with Flash right now. Let's start with that.
Okay, Flash. Oh man, let me make sure I'm getting it right.
Mm-hmm.
Killer Frost is pretty much there now. You know what I mean? Everyone knows who Killer Frost is. I'm trying to figure out. The wedding's not too far off. Barry's dad, they're expecting a baby. I don't know if you guys know that. Spoiler alert.
Who's getting a baby?
Iris's father.
Wow. With who?
Yeah. To his new girlfriend on that. I forgot her name on the show, but yeah. So they're expecting the baby. So I'd like to see how they're going to work that in there. And that's really about it. The Thinker is in there now, though. The Thinker is like one of the main villains, and he's pretty much coordinating, putting different metas into place to come up with this plan that he has. I don't know what the plan is, but they introduced their villain, the Thinker. If anyone knows who the Thinker is, so the Thinker is in there now in Flash. So that's pretty much it.
And what about Arrow?
Arrow, oh man, Arrow seems it seems the same to me. That's what I'm saying. Like I go back and I watch it and I'm like, what is different? Wow.
Who's the
I'm
villain
trying to figure out right now. Diggy. What is that with him? He has a shoulder problem right now. The last episode I watched, he had a shoulder problem to where it was actually messing up his aim, so he couldn't shoot his gun. So he was jeopardizing the team. They found out that Oliver, they found out his identity again. So he had to stop being Arrow for a while. Diggy had to take over being Arrow. So that's where that is right now, is with Arrow. I don't know. To me, it just seems like, again, the same script running over and over again with Arrow. Because it's not the first time that Diggy had to step in and be the Arrow. So it's nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing new. So, in a nutshell.
Wow.
And I didn't get to see Crisis. I know they're supposed to have a crossover with the. I didn't get to see that one yet. I might watch that tonight, actually.
Have you guys, changing subjects a little bit, have you guys caught up to Walking Dead?
I'm gonna leave
Yes.
Uh-oh, go ahead. Let me hear it.
Go ahead, Mike. You can take
Okay.
this one.
So, right now, Negan is back from, he was trapped with Father, what's his name? Father, the priest guy.
Yep.
And he now is back with his group. And in the last episode, I saw it a couple of days ago. I don't remember what happens at the very end, but love that this season is kind of back to bring like these two forces that are equal and battling it out. And the Negan is still being Negan. Rick is kind of a lot more calmer now. I kind of took a hiatus from it, so I missed out on like a lot of past few seasons. But it's doing really well. Like it's really a good comeback year when a lot of people, especially now, when a lot of people turned away from it the last couple of years.
Okay. Yeah, I fell off The Walking Dead a few years back, man. So you guys are my eyes and
No, they definitely brought it back to the tension, and they're bringing up the action. I think they definitely slipped where it was every episode, almost with a clock stopwatch. You had the, oh my goodness, here's the big zombie moment. Like every episode had like one zombie moment, and the rest of it was like backstory, developing characters that didn't need to be developed, and just drawing it out just to fulfill their contract to say they have 13 episodes or whatever it is. This episode is somewhere in between of that, where they're still kind of doing it, but it is getting better. It is getting better. I'm super interested to see where they're going to go with Negan in comparison to the comic books. Will he change his mentality? Will he become a good guy? Or he's the ultimate bad guy? And also, was it the Wolves?
Mm-hmm. The Wolves, yeah.
The Wolves kind of disappeared off the map. So when will the Wolves come back into play?
Yeah, I wonder if the Wolves are going to come back as that group that, spoiler alert coming, that they are the zombies. You know what I'm talking about? Like, they're dressed up as zombies, and how far are you in the comics?
Oh, no, I'm not. Yeah, so I have no idea where, yeah.
Oh.
Spoiler alert.
In the comic books, I mean, I think this show is so far deviated from it that I might not even bring it up.
No, go ahead. No, that's interesting.
The Wolves might become this new faction that's essentially everyone that is part of this group is dressed up as zombies, and then they attack Rick's group, and then the Wolves might come back as that. Or they just drop them off, which wouldn't be a bad thing because the Wolves were never really a highlight of the show for me.
Right. But then also you have the group of ladies that was it an episode series back? I mean, what do you call it? What was that, 5 or 4?
Yeah, I think 5. Where they were holding stuff for the saviors.
Yeah, and like all their men were killed. So
Yeah.
I would say the Lady Colony. Sorry, anyone is a fan, you could definitely leave a comment if you know the name of it. But the Lady Colony, are they going to jump into this war? That would be interesting.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
That would be absolutely awesome if they would come back as that. Because I don't like that they just stopped. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that was like one group that they just weren't part of the show anymore at this
Right.
point.
At this point. So this whole revolution going on, that's a potential society coming out of nowhere. Then you have the Wolves. What do you think of the garbage people?
Oh yeah, they're weird.
Her accent is totally weird, makes no sense. I don't get it.
They're like the sand people in Star Wars.
Yeah, just it's like where. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, their logic. I mean, it's not like here's a bunch of people that had a couple generations living in this society, in this world where they're that detached from reality, where her accent, everything would be totally different. So actually, you know what? It's an interesting question. How long was Rick asleep in a coma before all of this happened? The Outbreak.
When it first started. I don't even know. I'm not even sure.
So
Wasn't it a year?
Because
Okay.
Sean was the character, right? Sean left him in there. He thought he wasn't going to make it, right?
right.
Barricaded him in the room.
Mhm.
I don't know how long he was out though.
So let's say that's a year, and then you could pretty much date the rest of the show by watching his daughter grow up. So let's say all of this has taken place over the last 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years, you're not starting from scratch and becoming a total. I mean, I don't know, but like her accent, the way they're behaving, like their whole society. I mean, you would think a good 15 to 10 years, you would have just organically a whole different thing going on.
Yeah. They're the Amish of the zombie apocalypse.
I guess so. Now, what about Gotham? You guys.
You know what, dude? I have to actually go back and just watch Gotham. I didn't give Gotham a chance. I think.
Oh, really?
I didn't. I just was like, you know what? I was getting kind of tired of the whole Batman type thing. Even though I'm a Batman fan, I didn't think Gotham was going to be any good. So
I'm surprised because being a comic book creator that would be one of the first shows that you would.
Well, see, that's where I think. How could I put? I don't want to get down on anyone's work. I think being a creator,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you look at certain things and it's just like been there, done that. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And I'm looking at Batman. It's been done so many times. I was like, do I want to see another rendition? Do I want to see them mess up another Batman show or something, man?
Right.
And I didn't give it a shot, but I will actually go. I think after watching The Punisher has given me new light because we have to admit, the writing on some of these shows isn't the greatest. It's not. I'm just being honest. And even with some of the movies, the writing is horrendous. And being a creator, I'm like, man, guys, to me, it's like we always say it's like DC movies and DC animation. DC animation is way up here for the writing,
Right.
and then their movies is like, wow, man, what are you guys doing?
There are a couple of great episodes in there with Gotham in their defense. They lost me after Mr. Freeze. Up until Mr. Freeze, well, Mooney was a weird character. They created that specifically for the TV series world. They didn't know what to do with Mooney, and even when they killed her, they found a way to bring her back. I don't know why. Again, I think it was played great by Jada Pinkett. Honestly, I think that's one of her best roles ever.
Wow.
You know, the energy that she put into that character, I thought was great. But it was kind of pointless, and you could tell the writers didn't know what to do with her. And even after, when they started going to the Mad Hatter, they did it in such a weird way. Like they wanted their own. They wanted their Joker. They wanted their when Christian Bale's version of Batman. They wanted to create their own, like, ultimate evil, and they tried to be sinister and to be quirky instead of just being sinister and quirky.
I got you.
Yeah.
You know, even with Flash, just to go back, just a couple other things with Flash. He's out of the Speed Force now.
Right.
One thing I would like him to explain, they don't even really do it in the comics, I don't think, though. Explain what the Speed Force is. You know what I mean? Really break it down and just, what is the Speed Force? I mean, what is it? I don't think anyone here can really give a whole thing on what the Speed Force is. Is it a place? Is it energy? You know what I mean? So it's like, I would like them to actually break that down. They introduced Plastic Man. I don't know if you guys have seen that. They have Plastic Man's actually working with the Flash right now, so Barry's actually training him. So I don't know, man. Is it? Are they hopscotching around too much? I think so. They need to take and actually concentrate on one section at a time, or at least explain what the heck is going on before you move on to something else. You know what I mean? And that's where I think the strength of the Punisher came from. It actually explained, this is what happened, this was going to happen, and, you know, the events kind of matched. And this, they're just like throwing confetti up in the air and seeing what what comes sprinkling down first. I don't know.
To see what sticks.
Yeah, man, like throwing spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks. And it's like they have some great material, but it's like they never really elaborate on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, I don't know. That's me.
Well, I'm curious to see where they're going to go with these. Especially now we're having more DC Universe shows coming against movies. Who's your favorite Flash? Is it the TV version or is it the movie version? I mean, this is something that, as fans, now we have to contend with, because now we're having our dream characters come to life multiple times within our universe.
That's a good thing or bad thing? You think that?
I think it's bad. I need some space. I need some time to get over the TV show, and then now there's a movie. I don't like it going simultaneously.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's you have two different universes just bashing heads right now.
Mm-hmm.
Again, with the Flash on TV, and then you have Flash in the movie. Because when you're watching it, you're not just watching Flash. You have both of them up there. Okay, which one's better? You know what I mean? So you're watching, comparing the whole time instead of actually enjoying what's on the screen or what's on the television. And I think that can actually become an issue.
The winner out of all this is Black Lightning.
Yeah, right.
Because that's not going in the movies.
Come on yet, though, did it?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
But I don't expect to see that.
The previews didn't look too good.
Gotham, I still have hopes for Gotham. I think there's a lot of potential energy. They're the first ones to attack a character that everybody knows in this way of really building around. It's just like you say, Charles. Almost every episode, the writing. I found the movie version, not the movie, the Justice League Flash was super entertaining.
Yeah, I like what they did with that. I mean, I think they did it the best that they could.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You pretty much got a gist of who he is, why he's in the position he's in, his mother, his father. So it was kind of as much as, complete as much as they could without spending too much. Again, a movie, and then this is what I'm starting to fall away from. I love movies, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But it's just like it's like you're playing hopscotch. You can't tell a complete story. It's like you give a paragraph, you have the first sentence, the middle sentence, and then the last, and then we have to take and fill in everything else. You understand? Because they don't have the time to tell you everything. And I think that's the dangers of movies. That's my only gripe with movies, man. It's just like you got to fill in the gaps too much.
So
your average person might not understand that. I'm just saying but we know we're fans of the movies, the comic books and all that stuff. So you're scratching your head like, wait a second, man. That's not how it was in issue number 3, or something like that. That's a problem, man. That's a problem.
Well, we'll definitely next week. Let's say you want to go back to movies next week. What are you thinking? Or we don't have to tell we don't have to tell you guys, do we?
No, let's a surprise.
There's WinterCon's next weekend.
Oh yes, it is. Yeah, it is.
WinterCon is next weekend. So, listen, guys, hit us up. Leave comments. If any particular people you want us to interview at an upcoming con, let us know. We'll do that. We got you. Yeah. So thank you very much, Michael the Knight.
The Golden Knight.
The Golden Knight.
Close enough. That was close enough.
Sensei Vegan. And I'm 7, and we will see you next time. Eclecticka.